Hi, how are you doing? I'm making this video to respond to some laws that are being introduced. I'll explain why I'm wearing body armor in a little bit. We'll get to that point. But I want to compare, basically there's these laws of people trying to control the amount that people kill each other by restricting guns and ammunition. So if you don't know, there's some laws right now that people are trying to pass after they failed to pass them unconstitutionally through orders about restricting ammunition, but the problem is these people don't understand guns. You can't have someone that doesn't understand something try to find a comprehensive way to fix it. It's like if you don't know cars, you're not going to know how to fix a car. That's just it. So I'm going to give a basic introduction on some ammunition and why their mistakes aren't just mistakes, but will actually make things worse than they are now. So the law they're trying to introduce is to restrict any type of ammunition that's capable of piercing body armor. Well, that's very vague, and it takes into consideration not understanding body armor and not understanding ammunition. So I'll talk about ammunition first, then we'll get into body armor. So I have a few types of bullets here. I'm going to talk first about some handgun ammunition, even though the law is really focused, although I think it includes handgun ammunition, it's focused on rifle ammunition. So this is a ball round. It is a 9mm standard round that you buy at any store. It's the cheapest one to purchase and the most common. Why do we buy it? We use it to go to the range and shoot at pieces of paper so we can work on our skills. Because you don't want to blow a shit ton of money just shooting at a piece of paper. It's not designed to kill anybody. I mean, it's a bullet. If you shoot somebody with it, maybe they'll die, maybe not. And 9mm is not known for its fatality records, especially a ball round. Because the thing is, this round, if you do shoot somebody with it, it's primarily going to cut a hole right through them. Because a bullet kills you in two ways. One, it cuts through you and causes damage. Two, the impact takes the energy of the explosion of this and puts that energy into you. Now, the more it cuts through you, the less energy that you absorb. So if the bullet doesn't hit you in an artery or a fatal point and it just cuts right through you, it's actually one of the best ways to get shot. It's never good to get shot, it sucks. But you'd rather it cut right through you and do very little damage to your body. So what happens, these are what we use in the military. Why? Because international law, after World War I, people decided that the technology of war was so bad and so deadly, we needed to put constraints on soldiers so it wouldn't be as bad as it can be. And these rounds, they cut through people, they don't do a lot of damage. When you hear stories of people getting shot with these 10, 15 times and not dying. So what happens if you really want to kill somebody, you use something like this. It's a hollow point round. So what this is going to do, when it hits you, it's designed on the impact to crush and get bigger so that you absorb more of the impact. It's going to cut less, but it's going to cause a lot more tissue damage, more organ damage. This one is actually designed for killing you. We don't take these to the gun range because they're expensive. I have this because it's for my self-protection in my home. If you walk into my house, I'm shooting you with this. I'm not shooting you with that target round that I showed you. It's ridiculous. Then we have this. Now this is armor-piercing handgun ammunition. This, in a lot of places, is illegal. It's not illegal where I am, so I have it. Just why not? You never know if the guy that's coming after you might be wearing body armor. Sometimes bad guys do have it, look. But this one is designed to cut through the armor and then expand and transfer its energy. So different, it's not just cutting through, it's a hybrid of both of these two rounds. It's going to cut through like this one first, and then it's going to expand and transfer all of its energy like this one. This is a much bigger, heavier bullet. This is a deadly one. Shoot, could be wearing armor. So then we get to this one. This is the round that was primarily focused in the ATF, whatever they call it, that they were trying to do internally, and now I've heard, as of 2 days ago, is being proposed in the law to ban. Now this is the version of the first one I showed you. It's a solid ball round. They make these to shoot paper targets. Now unfortunately for this caliber, the 5.56 aka 223, that's the most popular round in the world, by far the most popular in the US, that they're trying to ban because it's the most popular and they think it's deadly. Actually, this round isn't deadly at all. If you think back of one of the reasons that we use the M16 was the argument that it's going to hurt people more than kill them. So you take two guys out of the fight to help their friend instead of killing the one guy and his two friends are still trying to kill you. This is not the most deadly round. Again, it's cheap, it's common, we use it for targets, and we use it because in the Army, because international law says I can't use a hollow point round. I would much rather use this shit in a war than this thing. This thing is not made to kill people. It's made to be cheap. But I don't have the hollow points to show you in this caliber of rifle, because this rifle, I only own it for target practice, for developing my skills. When I'm hunting or if I wanted to kill somebody, I have much bigger bullets for much more deadly guns that nobody's even looking at banning because people who don't understand guns don't know about them. But they're afraid of it because this is what keeps getting used in the school shootings and malls and all other kind of crap. You got to remember, those guys, they're buying the bullets that are cheap. The advantage of this one, although they say that it tumbles through and causes so much damage, it only does that a minority of the time. It has to hit you the right way. Most of the time it's going to cut right through you and transfer even less energy than this smaller one. Because this is going slower and it's a bigger diameter. This cuts through a lot easier and actually transfers a lot less energy in general. Now you hit somebody in a bone or something, yeah, it's going to do some other stuff, but that's all just fate. Now, this one, being a larger round, is capable of going through the armor that most police use, and that was the argument the ATF was basing things on. They needed to protect the police. But the thing is, the police body armor is similar to this really old army body armor that I'm wearing now called a flak jacket. This one, it's just some thin Kevlar. I just weighed it. It's 7.5 pounds. It's actually probably a little more comprehensive than what most police are using because there's some overlap. The Kevlar is a little bit thicker in some places. But it's not really that great, and it's not going to stop this bullet because it was never made to stop this bullet. That wasn't the designer's intent. This armor, and the armor the police is using, is made to reduce injuries. It's not to stop bullets. It saves lives indirectly. Because statistically, I think I read in the battlefield, if you survive the first 48 hours from your injury, you have like a 95% chance to survive. It's all about reduction of injury. You can't prevent the injury from happening. That's almost impossible. But the thing is, even this crappy target round is going to cut through this like butter. Because it's not what it's made to stop. It was made to reduce the impact of this garbage. You know, body armor's not magical. And the other thing is, this is only 7.5 pounds. As I said, it's crap, that's why we quit using it. Stuff I wore in Afghanistan was 35 pounds. I had heavy ass plates, it fucking sucked to wear that thing. But the police aren't running around wearing 35-pound body armor. If they were really so afraid, why aren't they wearing the bigger stuff? Which, the bigger stuff I had in the Army, it would probably save my life against this. Now, everybody we're fighting uses bigger bullets than this anyway, but even that 35 pounds wasn't guaranteed to save my life. It still wasn't necessarily going to stop a bullet. If it did, it would only stop one, and I was probably going to get shot at by more than one. Not just me. But the point is, you're making something designed for one thing, and then you want to restrict something else because it does something to that first thing it wasn't designed to do, you know? The police body armor wasn't designed to stop rifle rounds. So why do you want to make rounds illegal that can go through the armor. It's like saying that we're going to make trains illegal because if a train hits your car, your airbag's not going to save your life. Well, your airbag wasn't made to save your life if your car got hit by a train. The airbag was made to reduce the number of injuries. It reduces fatalities indirectly. So if you think that outlawing a rifle round fucking does something, it doesn't help. I want to put a note in there. You know, everybody that puts on a uniform, we've agreed we believe in something enough to risk our lives. If we put the uniform on and then we cry that our lives are in danger, well, maybe we don't deserve to be wearing a uniform. Should be doing something else that's a little less risky if you can't handle the stress. The side effect is, again, if this one is illegal, everybody in these shootings are using these because they're cheap and easy to get. But what happens when this one gets made illegal? What happens is everybody starts using this one, which is designed to kill. So that school shooting that, you know, hit a bunch of people, I don't know, I didn't do the statistics on it, but let's say just generally it kills half of the people hit. Instead of being hit with a crappy ass target round made for shooting paper that cuts right through people most of the time, we're gonna push people through the market by pressuring them to buy bullets that are more deadly. So now we're gonna have a school shooter with a bullet that's 10 times as deadly as the one they're using now. Now the difference is, this one that's made that it expands on impact, it's not going to go, most of the time it's not going to pierce that crappy body armor because it's made for shooting flesh. The target round is made for cutting through paper at a cheap price. This one is made for damaging flesh. It's not made for going through armor. So yes, the police will be more safe. But how about the thousands of civilians and innocent people out there that aren't wearing body armor? Huh? We're going to prioritize a couple of cops who decided they were willing to risk their life. Instead, make it much more deadly for all the other people out there that aren't prepared. You know, that didn't go into that shopping mall knowing there was a shooter in there. It just doesn't make sense. When I post things in YouTube and I mention that my perspective is influenced by having, you know, been in Afghanistan, it's usually on topics about Afghanistan or the military that I make comments. People always come back, oh, you aren't really a soldier, you didn't do shit. Well, maybe I didn't do shit, but I am a soldier and I did deploy. At the end of this, I'll put in a picture of my DD-214 blacked out, because I get sick and tired of people accusing me of not being a veteran, you know? Just because you sit on your fucking couch doesn't mean I did, although I'm sitting on my couch now. You know, we had, the Afghan war lasted 12 years. Iraq was what, 9 years? No, 7 years? So you have 20 years of war. You know, tens of thousands of us have deployed. Now, I've known thousands and thousands of soldiers, of course. I've not met a single one of those stupid fucks you see on YouTube with the stolen valor shit. I haven't met a one of them. So I don't know why every time I post something, somebody has to accuse me of being dishonest. It's just a pain in the ass and it's insulting. So just so nobody watches this video and says that, oh, you're really a dumbass that's full of shit, I'll show you a copy of my DD-214 with the pertinent information blacked out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I doubt anybody will watch this video anyway, because nobody gives a fuck about what goes on in the world anymore. Have a good day. Please tell your politicians not to support some dumbass law. You know, if they want to change the Constitution, amend it, and people like me have nothing to do to argue. You know, we vowed to defend the Constitution. But if you continue to try to do illegal shit that violates the Constitution, I don't know. I don't appreciate you. And you're not living up to your oath.